What's up? It is Wednesday. All right, so another shadow read. I don't know why I'm always so smiling and excited whenever we talk about the shadow. It's weird because it's a relatively dark subject. We're digging up and dredging up potentially traumatic and painful and angry and just feelings and thoughts and emotions and stuff like that are not pleasant or positive, and I'm always just like smiling like yay, it's a shadow. So I don't know why that is. I'm sorry. I that's just I don't know. I see the positive in pretty much everything. I got my glass of mead. I've graduated from Trader Joe's wine tonight. Okay, so topic tonight. What areas do we experience self-doubt that may be obscured or hidden from us? And this could be purposeful. This could be like us consciously hiding or not paying attention to these particular areas that are being obscured. So like we are burying or obscuring them from our conscious mind. Or this could simply just be like residual shit that we're carrying with us that is there. We're just not consciously aware of it. We're not consciously aware that it's still hanging out, right? Like all that debris from, I don't know what the fuck is up with my hair tonight. I had it pulled back and then I decided to take it down. I'm going to try not to play with my hair. This is the question of, regardless of whether this is self-doubt that we are choosing not to pay attention to or self-doubt that's obscured from us because we are just not aware of it and we're not paying attention to it. What areas do we experience self-doubt and it is hidden or obscured? Okay. So the card I pulled, if you're new, I use two decks for these tarot reads. The first main deck I use is the Darkwood Tarot, and this deck is specific to shadow work. Okay, so it is a deck that's darker, and it is specifically designed for that shadow journey. Okay, the first card, right, I pull and I ask, what areas are we obscuring or hiding or are obscured or hidden from ourselves that are self-doubt? And of course, this has to do with the shadow, right? The shadow is all about the ways in which we hold ourselves back. And it could be because we have been through traumatic things, we are ashamed of ourselves or something we've done or how we think or feel, we are embarrassed about things, we've been through experiences that have hurt us. So all of those are things that have to do with the shadow, okay? And so self-doubt naturally comes from many of those places as we experience things that we don't like or that are uncomfortable for us or that are hurtful. We tend to think, well, that happened to me because I'm not good enough, or that happened to me because I wasn't smart enough to make it not happen, right? And sometimes that could be the case. I don't know, right? But a lot of times it has nothing to do with us and it has to do with how shitty another person is being to us, right? So in the case of abuse or physical or emotional pain or being cheated on or someone stealing money from you, these types of things that we tend to personalize, sometimes it has nothing to do with us and everything to do with how horrible another person is, okay? So the card that actually came up was the Star. This card usually means this is the archetype of healing, the open. So if you think about where this comes into the major arcana, the Star comes after the Tower, right? And most people view the Tower as a really bad card to get in a draw. And sometimes it can be. Sometimes it can signal utter destruction is on its way, right? I tend to view the Tower as a necessary evil, and I wouldn't even call it an evil. It's a transformation card. That's what the Tower is. The Tower is telling us that we are going to break down and destroy something. okay? But in the destruction of anything, you're left with the ashes from which you can rise again and rebuild something else, okay? So the star is what comes after the tower. And the star is that open field where the tower used to stand that's now fertile and vulnerable and ready to be built on, right? So it's something that we can build from, okay? Now, the shadow meaning of this card, when you look at the shadow meanings, you know, that the deck creator has provided, this could be that we think that outer perfection is bliss. We're focusing on thinking that our life should always be brimming with happiness. We are convinced that fairy tales exist, and I don't mean like fairies, but like fairy tales, there's going to be a charming prince who's going to come and you're going to live happily ever after and you're going to have no problems, you know, those types of things. That everlasting bliss, these concepts that we build and that we subscribe to, that there's such a thing as everlasting bliss. And I will further clarify, everlasting bliss that we don't have to work for and that takes no regular maintenance, right? Like that's what fairy tales are, is just this good shit happens and we don't have to do anything to get it, and then we don't have to do anything to keep it. That doesn't exist, okay? Good shit happens to us, but it's when we work for it and then we maintain it, okay? But moreover, the message here is trying to make things beautiful on the outside when the inside is festering, okay? So shallow thoughts and behaviors, and where this hit me the most, and I'll speak to this from personal experience, the whole concept or the comment about trying to make things beautiful on the outside or focusing on a beautiful exterior when the inside is festering, this is a super easy trap to get caught in on social media. I think as a woman, we experience this probably even more intensely at times, because when we are on social media, we're constantly surrounded by images that are airbrushed and photoshopped and filtered, and we're told this is what you're supposed to look like. This is what your body should be. This is what your skin should be. Your hair should be this color. You should wear these clothes. You should behave this way. You should have this attitude. And this highly depends on what kind of like subgenre you are involved in. All right. And yes. I will tell you this, my background is in nutrition and fitness. And for the longest time, I was involved in the Fit Pro community, right? I used to own a gym. I still have my registered dietitian credential. I don't really see patients that much anymore. But I was heavily involved in that. And that industry is incredibly toxic, and it's highly toxic for women because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right? If you're too thin, you're not thick, right? But if you're too big, you're not fit. You literally cannot fucking win, okay? And every time you log in, you see these pictures of women, and if you're a guy, it's probably the same thing. You see these pictures of women with these perfectly toned bodies, and I know, because I used to work with competitors, that those pictures are taken like 24 hours before they step on stage, and they don't look like that for the rest of the next 3 to 4 months, right? They only look like that for about a day, and then they go back to looking like a relatively normal body, okay? But when you log in, yes, it is defeating. So then we compare ourselves to that. And so then let's talk about the magical and witchcraft community, right? If you're not goth enough, or if you're not green enough, or all of the little subgenres and the cliques within this community, we see these things and we think, well, maybe I should be doing that, or maybe maybe I'm not really a witch if I don't do this. So within every industry and every community, there is this need to feel like we belong, and this need to produce an exterior that fits in when the inside is not happy. Okay? So when you are desperately trying to be that completely fake, by the way, completely fake picture that's online, and you're going, I gotta have perfect skin and a perfect body and whatever, right? Like all of these things that you're constantly trying to get, just realize that those pictures of those other women that you're looking at, they also don't have those things, okay? They also don't have the perfect body, because that doesn't exist. But the body that you're seeing in the picture has been airbrushed digitally. It has been photoshopped. The stretch marks are removed. The cellulite is removed. They slim down their arms and their waists. I mean, all of that shit is fake, okay? So when you see those pictures and you look at that and you go, I gotta look like that, inside that tears you up, right? And it festers, and you know that you feel like you can never be that, okay? So that's what this card is telling us, is what's being obscured from us, what areas of self-doubt are being obscured or hidden. And it could be that we are just completely consciously choosing to ignore these behaviors, these shallow behaviors. Now, it's completely okay to want to be beautiful. It's completely okay to strive for a healthier body or better skin or shinier hair or whatever, right? Like whatever that is that you want, there is nothing wrong with wanting those things. But at the expense, oh my God, this incense is like all over my face. At the expense of your happiness, right? And I've been there, I've fallen into that trap. Like I said, I used to be in that fitness community, that nutrition community. I know how to craft the perfect body, how to have the perfect diet. And I will tell you that with everything comes sacrifice. All of the competitors that I've worked with that have been those like perfect, fitness models, right? That look comes at extreme sacrifice. You are typically fairly unhealthy, or not unhealthy, but unhappy. You don't get to just go out and have drinks with your friends. You can't just sit here and enjoy a drink of an evening. You don't get to go enjoy glorious, masterful food, wherever you live. You spend a lot of time in the gym. And I have been that person. And when I see, believe me, I see those pictures of myself pop up in my time hop or my memories on my phone. And I'm like, it really wasn't worth it. I really wasn't that happy, right? So I'm going to tell you that what this is also telling us is the grass is not greener, okay? And women, we definitely are guilty of this. Collectively, I myself do it. I know most other women do it too. There's always that one thing that we're like, oh, if I had her body or her hair or her whatever, right? Life would be better. It's not, okay? Whatever that thing is that you think your life would be better having that you don't have, I guarantee you it's not. Your life is what you make it. And your life can be pretty fucking amazing with just you, right? But when the outside doesn't match the inside, if the inside is unhappy, it is dark and festering and it's miserable and it's always gonna find something wrong, you will never find yourself beautiful. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It is not until inside you're like, damn, I'm a fucking gorgeous bitch, right? I don't care who you are. If you are not saying that to yourself in the mirror at some point, inside, you are unhappy, okay? Every single person has the ability to find themselves beautiful, right? Whether it's physically beautiful, emotionally beautiful, I don't care what it is that you're looking for. You do have it. but you will not believe that you have it until inside you are happy with yourself. And that is an extremely hard journey to undertake. I don't claim to have all the answers. I've been through it. I can't tell you what's going to work for you. The reason why I do these shadow reads is specifically because I think a lot of us are dealing with these issues of internally feeling like we are ugly no matter what, okay? And we are not, right? The human body is beautiful in many shapes, sizes, forms, colors, genders, I don't care, okay? Find what makes you beautiful and embrace it, all right? So the grass is not always greener, and it's almost never greener, okay? And those shallow thoughts and behaviors that don't, the exterior being beautiful doesn't match the interior, that's that hidden shadow element, right? That hidden self-doubt. So then to ask the question, how do we take that element of ourselves and make our external beauty internal beauty? We don't want to lose our external beauty. We are all beautiful externally. How do we make the inside match the outside? How do we get that inside to be beautiful so that radiates outwards, right? So that we have that self-confidence. So we take away that element of self-doubt that says you're not pretty, you're not good enough, you don't have whatever this feature is that you think you should, okay? And so these I pull from the Occult Tarot. They are the cards featuring the 72 Goetic demons. And these are a great deck of cards to explore darker elements, right? To look at how do we take something that is perceived as a negative and make it into a positive or a strength, okay? And so this card, Bathin, relates or resonates most with the energy of the Knight of Wands, okay? Now the Knight of Wands in a regular reading is what I call the berserker, okay? That Knight of Wands energy is that like head first, rush in there, get shit done, set everything on fire and burn it down, okay? We don't want to burn ourselves down, okay? So what we need to understand here with this energy as far as how do we make our outward beauty inner beauty as well, okay? This is that all-in approach to solving a problem. So this needs to be something that goes from being obscured and hidden, right, was part of our first question there, to now all in. We recognize it, we see it there, I have this self-doubt, I feel bad about myself because of X, Y, and Z. Like, write this shit down, get it out of you, put it on paper, make it known, and all of a sudden it loses power, right? As soon as you put it out there, it loses power. This is daring, taking a risk, going, okay, you know what? I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to stop giving a shit, right? I'm going to stop caring what Nancy over there's perfect body looks like, right? Because she's not me. She doesn't have my genetics. She doesn't have my life. She doesn't have whatever, right? So I'm going to put that out there. What this is also telling us is this is an action card. So this is not going to happen by just sitting back and waiting for shit to change. This is, you are going to have to take action to make this change, okay? This can also mean that this has come from or stemmed from being burned by usually a romantic partner. So this could be that some of this self-doubt comes from perhaps a previous relationship where somebody, you know, treated you wrong, or you felt whatever this insecurity or self-doubt is came from a relationship where you were spurned, or you were maybe deceived, or there was cheating or infidelity, right? So all of those things could possibly be the root of this. So you kind of want to explore that too, and make sure that you're not holding over some unresolved issues. This could be something that happened years and years and years ago, right? But we tend to hold on to this baggage, right? I know I definitely did at one point. So this can also cause you to be that person that's ready to jump ship quickly, that gets bored, inability to stay put, okay? Which that energy is great when we're working on creative projects, but that energy is not great when it comes to loving ourselves, okay? So points here, don't let small issues turn into or take your focus away from this big energetic focus, right? So now that we're looking at, okay, we have this self-doubt issue that previously was hidden, we're now facing it, we're going to confront it, we're going to deal with it. We don't want to get rid of the shadow self. The shadow self exists, it's part of us, but we want to confront it and embrace it and not let it have control over us and the way that we think about ourselves. So we don't want to take away that energetic focus, but we don't want to let small things, little shit that's not important, right? People that bother us, or just having not a great day. We don't want to let that take away from our energetic focus of this inward exploration, right? We want to make this beautiful exterior a beautiful interior too, okay? So that we can deal with that self-doubt. What you need to do with Knight of Wands energy is understand that it needs to be free and released and forgiven, otherwise you will contain it and burn your house down, okay? So what that means is all of that internal pain and embarrassment and shame and fear and anger, hatred, whatever those things are that this stems from, this self-doubt you have about yourself, where you find yourself comparing yourself to other people, right? To people who, like we said, the photos aren't real, they're doctored, their lives aren't even that great. Like, we all follow those accounts that have these perfectly curated feeds that lead us to believe that they have these wonderful lives. Those bitches don't have lives that good. Nobody does, okay? I mean, I love my life. I have a great family. I'm successful at work. My life is good, but I don't sit here and be like, oh yeah, I buy like 70 million crystals every single day and, I'm like this perfect witch. Nobody is, and nobody does, okay? So again, if you are comparing yourself to what others have, if you're looking at those shallow projections and curated lives and feeds, you will never be happy. You will never be happy with yourself, because you're not them, and they're also not them. Let's be real. They're not that person that they've created that you're viewing online, okay? So turn the camera around. Inwardly, you want to look at, how do I set this free? How do I set this self-doubt free? How do I set this hurt or pain or wherever this came from, okay? How do I set that free? How do I forgive if it's another person or if it's ourselves? Did I do something that I feel guilt over? Did I do something that I feel shame over? Am I afraid of something, right? Forgive. Let that go. Once you have forgiven, you let it go. Let that outward beauty shine inward, okay? And I guarantee over time, as you work through this, that self-doubt starts to crumble. And then all of a sudden, one day you do wake up and you look in the mirror and you do say, God damn, bitch, you look good, okay? So that's what we should all be striving for. And you don't have to change your outward appearance to feel that about yourself. Okay, so that was it. That was a little deep. I think we went there. I think we've all felt those feelings. We've all been through those experiences. I think existence as a woman in the digital age is fairly universal in some ways, in that we are always comparing ourselves to others. We are always going to say, I'm not as whatever as her, right? And we have to break that habit, because that is where self-doubt comes from. That's where we go, I'm not pretty, I'm not smart, I'm not talented, I'm not accomplished, I'm not whatever, right? And then we further break it down by the industries that we all are in. Are we artists? Are we creators? Are we architects? Are we businesswomen? And then we start looking at other women who are doing these things and we think that we need to be like them. Your path is your path. okay? And your self-doubt is going to come from trying to walk someone else's path, wearing your own shoes, not their shoes, okay? So I'm gonna get out of here and finish my drink, and I hope you guys have a great night. It's a wonderful Wednesday. Stay cool, and I'll be back probably Friday. I don't want to promise anything. I'll for sure be back at least Saturday or Sunday, but probably Friday as well. If you have shadow subjects that you want to go over, DM me or comment and say, hey, I really want to discuss whatever, and we'll do a read and we'll talk about it. Because I like this shit. Like I said in the beginning, I always jump on here and I'm smiling and happy, like, woohoo, it's the shadow self. I don't know why that is, but I like this shit. So if you guys like it too, let me know if there's a particular topic you want to go over. We'll pull some cards and we'll get into it. All right. I'm a Cancer, and it's getting ready to be Cancer season here in a few days. I like getting up in my feels. If you don't like getting up in your feels, that's okay, but I like that shit. So let's do it. Let's get in our feels. Let me know if there's something you guys want to talk about. See you later. Bye.